Hey everybody, how we doing today? Who's happy with eBay not allowing any of the small people to make money anymore? I'm sure one of them. But anyway, today we've got a ration from Denmark. It's a cod baller with spaghetti, which, I don't know, I guess it's spaghetti and meatballs. It's a menu number 7. And here it shows it's got 3,707 calories in it. Never had a Danish ration before, so this ought to be really cool. Let's open it up and check it out. This is a 24-hour ration. So, comes in a nice cardboard box. And this one, the glue has come out a little bit, but otherwise, seems pretty sturdy. So let's take a look at what we get here. Here we have our meatballs and spaghetti. Seems like a pretty good size. It's a 400 gram package, and it says it's got a best before date of January of 2020. I don't know if we can see that or not, but so that's got a pretty good shelf life on it. Here we have an Orifo tuna flake in water, 50 gram. It doesn't seem like there's much of anything in that. Here we have a mackerel in tomato sauce. Boy, I don't think I'm looking forward to this one at all. Not a huge fish fan. Here we have our breakfast, which would be fruit muesli. That seems like a fairly hefty amount. Here we have a flameless ration heater. So this ought to be fun. We have our strawberry, or it just says, oh, it's black currant, I'm sorry. Jam marmalade. Well, it says it's strawberry, black currant, and raspberry all at once. We have a raw bite apple cinnamon. We have some Nut Walker cashews, roasted salted. Gotta love those. We have a box of Firelight matches, wooden matches, little brown tips on them. Here we have some farmhouse pate. That seems to have a lot in it. We have some Brussels pate. We have another jam, which is, of course, it says strawberry, blackberry, or black currant rather, raspberry again. We have what looks like a brew kit. We'll check that out in a minute. Here we have some, strawberry porridge. That's interesting. We have some biscuit, whole grain biscuits. The great thing is everything's in English on this, so keep digging down. We have some peanut butter from Orifo. We have a chocolate bar. We have some drinks. We have a peach flavored drink, cocoa flavored drink, lemon, my nemesis. We have a raspberry protein bar. We have a pack of raisins, a pack of dried cranberries. We have some Bridgeford, which is made in the U.S., of course, whole wheat snack bread. We have another whole wheat snack bread. And last, we have some spicy sauce, which we already know is just a hot sauce. So let's check out our brew kit real quick. We have a big Ziploc bag that I'll guess is for our garbage. And this looks like a basic, kind of like a British brew kit. We have some Colombian freeze-dried coffee, black tea, another Ceylon black tea, antibacterial wipe, 2 more antibacterial wipes, pepper, salt, another coffee. Oops, let me see. Yep, another coffee. 3 coffees total. More pepper, another salt, another pepper. Only 2 spoons, which they seem pretty sturdy sturdy spoons. We have a sugar, another sugar, oops, 2 packs of chiclets, and a toothbrush, which is pretty cool. Let's see who that's made by. Oh, I don't know. Oh, it says CareGuard on it. Okay, so we get a little pink toothbrush and 2 toothpicks. Now, if you look at this as a pile, this is a lot for probably one of the biggest rations I've seen, honestly. It's quite large, what it has in it. So we'll get this broken up and we'll try to get it figured out in menus. Okay, now after I sorted everything out and figured out this is how I would eat it, really, there was so much stuff in here. I had to kind of just make decisions on how to eat it. So here's how I broke it down. We have the Brussels pate and the farmhouse pate for breakfast. We've got our muesli, gum, salt, pepper, one of our jams, one of our toothpicks, toothbrush, coffee with sugar, and our tea, antibacterial wipe, and our crackers. So that's how I'm breaking down breakfast. Now for lunch, we're going with, sorry about that. For lunch, we're going to go with one of our whole wheat breads, our mackerels and tomato sauce, tuna flakes and water, our peach drink, peanut butter, coffee, wet wipe, our raspberry protein bar, our apple cinnamon raw bite, raisins, cashews, gum, salt, pepper, and toothpick. This is probably going to be the least enjoyable for me, but this is how I figured it up to where I could eat it, and if I don't like the fish, I can at least have peanut butter on the bread. So next up we'll do dinner. Okay, for dinner I've broken it up. We have our snack bread, our cranberries, our last tea, salt and pepper, our last jam, marmalade, gum, our hot sauce, our spaghetti and meatballs, lemon drink, chocolate bar, wet wipe, Colombian coffee, and sugar. Now this porridge, and I really don't know what to do with it. And it gives a list of the different porridges that are on here: strawberry, fruit of the forest, and apple. And then it gives the Danish translations over here. And on the back, it's got a stamp that might be hard to read, but it says Abel Goro or something like that. So if you look at the Danish side here, for appelgrøt or apple whatever, is apple porridge. Now again, I can't figure out what this actually is inside. It feels kind of liquid, so I'm going to just go with it being a dessert. Otherwise, I would add it with my muesli for breakfast if it's some kind of jam. But we already have jam, so I don't know how to really classify it. So we'll just try it out and see what we come up with. So first off, we're going to start with breakfast, and then in a second video, we'll do lunch and dinner, pretty much like always. So give a second and we'll get dinner, or breakfast rather, started up. Okay, so we've got everything laid out. Let's try to start out. We're going to start out with our fruit muesli. It says add water to the to the lines. So I like my breakfast cereals hot. So let's just tear this open and start getting it. And it says, there we go. It's obviously got a lot of milk powder in it. It's got a nice gusseted bottom to set, so it'll sit. We're going to use our, of course, U.S. Arctic canteen. That is great for holding. Whoa. Sorry about that. Holding hot water. Okay, let's close up the Ziploc on it. Kind of give it a shake, mix it up. All right, we'll let that sit for a few minutes. Close the Ziploc back up while we get everything else ready. We'll set that right over here. And let's get our tea made up, and we're going to use my Han Solo cup with the broken handle that I got from my daughter. Add a little bit of our sugar. Okay, just a normal tea bag. Which is, there we go. All right. Next up, we'll use our Las Vegas coffee cup that we got from K-Man. Had our sugar in that. And if you're watching K-Man, you need to give me a call and let me know how you're doing. We have our instant coffee. And this meal is going to be pretty drink heavy. Just because I couldn't figure where a place for everything to go. All right, lastly, we're going to have our cocoa flavored beverage powder. Now it says to add 200 mils of water, which this looks kind of interesting. It's got like little white flakes, which I'm only going to guess are milk. But basically it's a cup of water. I think that should about do it. Let's take our spoon, give it a stir. And it looks like I might have added a little too much. All right. Okay, after that, we've got our two pâtés. We'll get them opened up and check them out. Here we have the Brussels pâté. Actually smells pretty good. Here's the farmhouse pâté. Now these, sometimes depending, are good, sometimes just aren't. Again, it smells about the same. They look about the same, so check out our whole grain biscuits, and we'll see if these are sweet or savory. Hopefully they're savory, so we can try them with the pâtés. And they're kind of broken up. Let's give one a try real quick. Definitely not sweet. And definitely a whole grain. Wow. That is just straight grains. So, we have our jam here. Well, that should be a good complement for these biscuits, considering. So the only thing we haven't used yet will be the salt and pepper, which we won't need. Our antibacterial wipe and our gum. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to take a drink of my tea first. Give it a quick stir. That's a really good cup of tea. Not too strong. It's got a good flavor to it. The sugar adds a wonderful taste. Let's go ahead, and we're going to use our German mess kit set here. We're going to try out the farmhouse pâté. It's pretty soft. Let's give it a taste on its own. Yeah, that's actually not too bad. It's got a really creamy texture. It doesn't taste like a liver or anything like that. It's just got a good sausage flavor to it. Let's try it with a cracker. That's really good. Let's try out our Brussels pate. It's got a pretty creamy texture to it. Now this probably has more of a liver to it. Yeah, the Brussels pate, or I'll make sure I'm right. Yeah, the Brussels pate is a lot creamier. Definitely more of a liver taste to it. But it's still good. Kind of have to say that I like the farmhouse pate better. But let's check out our marmalade. Use our Mora knife here to cut it. Now, of course, we could add this into our muesli, but I want to try that on its own. All right. Yeah, that's delicious. Oh, it is black currant. Now, see, I'm trying to see. They list all of them, all the flavors on the tube, and then thinking it's all three of them at once. But if you look on the back, it actually tells you that it's black currant. So, and I do love black currant. I thought that tasted a little too much like black currant to be strawberry or raspberry. That works really well. I love this stuff. All right, next we're going to go ahead and move on to our muesli. We'll use the other half of our mess kit. That should be completely rehydrated. That is definitely a lot. Let's see. You can see it's milky. It's got raisins and oats. And what would a meal be without Oscar the Never Been Fed Dog? Give that a look. All right, let's give it a try. Yeah, that is absolutely wonderful. It's oats. The raisins in there really stand out. I'm glad I did actually do this with hot water to soften it up. It would have been great cold, but this is fantastic. It's like a really rustic oatmeal. Honestly, it doesn't need any sugar or any sweeteners at all. I can see sunflower seeds in there. Yeah, that's just wonderful. I'm going to enjoy finishing this bowl. Let's try out our coffee. Just a good instant coffee. Nothing's out of the ordinary, just decent. Let's try out our Danish cocoa. That's really tasty. I would have liked some creamer maybe to add into this to make it a little bit creamier. But as a chocolate, this is delicious. Yeah, that's one of the better cocos right there that I think I've had. So breakfast, was absolutely enjoyable. I'm going to finish this up, finish up the rest of these. I'm going to let Oscar try a little bit of the pâtés and let you guys see what he thinks of it. Here he is with the Brussels pâté, and I'm going to say that he really likes it. And I hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you when we finish up the next review of the lunch and dinner.